Okay, welcome back if you've been here before. Today we're going to add voting for the players to vote on particular items or in-game things. I've set up a building for that. And we've set up 4 to start off with, which may be all we're going to have. So the first one is vote for PvP preference, either in zones, games and arenas only, or in the wild anywhere in the world. We will have a button for the alternatives. Here you can vote whether creepers are going to destroy blocks, yes or no vote. Here you can vote whether you want to be able to see the world engine and command blocks, which I've set up here for players to wander around and have a sticky beak. If don't like that, if that ruins the role play, then we turn that off or close it off. And the other one is whether we want phantoms to spawn or not. So based on the majority of the votes, I will change the world settings appropriately. Now to do this, we're going to have to set up an objective to track the votes for each one, and we're going to have to give the players a tag when they've voted so they can't vote more than once. We're also going to use the citizen stat level system that we set up in earlier videos so that somebody that gets on for just a minute cannot vote, so you can't get all your mates to come on and vote in your favour and then go off. And it's only going to be available to people that have been on for 50 minutes or so, so people that are seriously interested in staying in the world. We'll also be setting up 2 dummy players for each voting option, so that we can track those and display them on the screen or wherever. So let's set up the first objective. That is scoreboard, objectives, add. Now we'll give it a name for the command, so we'll say PvP zones only. It's a dummy objective, and actually no, that's what we give the player name. We want PvP zone choice, I think, or PvP, just PvP choice. So it's a dummy objective, and now we want the display name, so that will be, what would look good? Well, I suppose PvP choice is probably the best one to have. The other description will be in the dummy player name. So there we go. Let's put that on the side screen. So we have scoreboard, objectives, set display, sidebar, PvP choice. Now there's nothing there at the moment because we haven't got any votes. Now the 2 dummy players are going to represent whether or which vote, whether it's zones or in the wild. So we'll give those dummy players a name that actually describes what we want to show. So we do that by just giving them the score. So scoreboard, players, set. Now let's say PvP zones only is the player's name, and we set the PvP choice to 0. And there we have that. Next we want PvP wild. In or wild. No, we'll just call it PvP wild. So there you go. Now the idea is when we push choices, that those numbers will go up, and we'll be able to see what the majority decides. Now we need to add that information to the command blocks so that they work. You'll see I've got command blocks here ready to go. This will be the main command to check whether they voted before, and if they haven't, then it'll activate this one, which will add the number to the dummy player for the choices. I will stop to mention here that I did try and do this earlier and it didn't work because I was using the command blocks in a downward fashion, like this. So it would go down across to that one. Command blocks do not work downwards. They only work horizontally or up. If you activated this one, whether it's true or false, that one did not work. So never run command blocks downwards. These chain ones are changed to conditional. Normally they default to unconditional, but we're changing them to conditional so that they only operate if the first command block is true or activated. So let's begin. We want to tag the player that they voted. So tag at P, put in the distance of within 5 blocks of the button, and if they haven't already got the tag PvP, what shall we call it, voted, so we want to add PvP voted. So if they haven't got the voted tag, that's what that means, and they're within 5 blocks of the button, we will add the PV voted tagged to them. We also want to make sure that they've been on the server long enough, so we'll add that. So scores equals citizen stat, it needs to be in brackets, equals 3 or less. I think we set it at. So they need to be in 5 blocks, they need to have not voted, and they need to be level 3 or on the server for 50 minutes or so. Done. Now we need to add the count to our dummy player. So scoreboard, players, add, what's our player called? PvP zones only. PV choice 1. Okay, because that's conditional, it will only operate when the first one is true. If someone pushed the button and they were not level 3 or less and they'd already voted, that won't be set to true and therefore it won't run that. If you had it unconditional, that one would always operate because of the power generated by that one, whether it was true or false. So it must be conditional. Let's copy this for the PvP Wild. As far as I can tell, it should be exactly the same. The only thing that will be different will be this one, because we'll be updating a different dummy player. This time we will do update the PvP Wild player. And that's it. That should be done. Shall we test it? First I'll check to see whether I've got the tag. Now I only have WorldForge, citizen and admin. So I will vote for PvP away from towns and or in the wild everywhere. And you see it's updated that to 1. If I want to go back and vote over here, shouldn't work. Or do another vote, shouldn't work. If I turn this block to unconditional, I'll be able to push this as many times as I want. So we'll change this back to conditional. And we'll reset that player to 0. So there you go. Done. So you can add a voting system. Now, I don't need to show how to do these ones because they're all the same. It's just a different set or a different objective and a different set of dummy players. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.